Greetings all. Today I'm taking one for the team and putting my feet, well, at least one of them, on Front Street. And that is to show you my experience with polygel on toenails. Now, why? Who's crazy enough to do that? You may be asking. By this video, apparently me. But in the process of putting this video together for you, I learned that polygel product would be excellent for clients experiencing nail trauma, breakage, ski jump nails, or other scenarios that may otherwise make your tootsies or your client's tootsies unsightly. And so if you're not happy with your current toenail situation, stay put, as this video may become the answer to magazine-worthy toenails. Let's begin. Now, while you may try this at home on yourself, this process is so much easier, trust me, when it is done for you or you're doing on a client. Alright, so as far as tools are concerned, you'll need a pair of clippers. Make sure that they are straight at the cutting edge, otherwise you may create an ingrown situation with curved ones. You also need a cuticle pusher, cuticle nippers, and this is totally optional, but if you're going to be using an electric file or an electric file machine, you'll need a diamond bit to clean up the cuticle area. You'll also need an emery board and a sponge buffer, as well as a disinfectable manicure brush and toenail separators. You'll also need an exfoliating tool. You can use a pumice stone, you can use a foot file, anything like that. Just make sure that if you're doing this on yourself, that it's very gentle. Hence why I'm going to recommend just a lava pumice stone. As far as products go, you'll need a cuticle remover. This is my favorite one by Leaf Gel. You'll also need a callus spray or some sort of gentle callus removal. I like this one by Dazzle Dry. It's urea based, and I like it because it's very gentle yet very effective. Because I'm using this urea type product, I also want to kind of pair it with a urea based moisturizer. So I'm going to be using this one. Urea based products are excellent for pedicures because they're very gentle again, but very effective. And so they will repair cracked heels, remove dry skin, and all by doing it very gentle without creating more damage. To finish, you'll need some cuticle oil and baby powder. Now, the baby powder is really a trick if your client's feet are super oily or your feet are super oily after your pedicure, right after you apply some lotion, some moisturizer. You don't want to leave with that oily, greasy feeling on your feet, or you're going to be walking, whatever the case may be. Just sprinkle some onto your feet and rub it in, and it'll get rid of the oily effect, but it will still keep your feet hydrated and moisturized. Now, for your polygel application, you'll need the dual forms. You'll need your entire polygel system, primer, base coat, and top coat, as well as your choice of polygel color. Additionally, you'll need your spatula pickup tool and then the brush to mold your polygel into place, as well as your alcohol solution to moisten the product. Now, I didn't mention this early, but because I'm doing this pedicure at home, I'm actually going to be doing a waterless pedicure. And the other reason why I'm doing a waterless pedicure is because I'm working with enhancement products. So gel polish or acrylic or polygel, anything an enhancement product, you probably want to work on dry feet so that you don't trap any moisture underneath the product. However, if you do end up using water, make sure you dehydrate the nails thoroughly with either pure acetone or 90% alcohol before applying your enhancements. So with that said, you also need a couple of equipment. You may have a small pedicure tub. If you do, then go ahead and get that ready. But you also need an electric file and a UV curing unit. Now, the first step in polygel with dual form application is to actually go ahead and size the dual forms to the correct nail sizes. So you'll notice that most likely the dual forms will not be in a size for you to fit on your big toenail. So my advice to you is to actually just work with the polygel itself. You can put a paper form underneath, but I would just skip the dual form on the big toe and just go ahead and continue sizing the rest of your toenails. So once you've gone ahead and sized all of your toenails to the correct dual form size, go ahead and place those in order somewhere on the side and then prepare for the pedicure. First, Trim and shape the toenails into the desired length and shape. Now it's time to use your preferred cuticle remover. Let it sit on your cuticle area for about a minute, so make sure you disperse it thoroughly. And then while you're waiting for your cuticle remover to take action, go ahead and clean the underside and the side walls of the toenail. That should have taken you about 2 to 3 minutes, at which time now your cuticle remover has taken action and you are ready to push back the eponychium area and start scraping off any cuticle off of the nails. Go ahead and use your spatula and also to scrape away any of that cuticle. So now it is time to take a break from the cuticle work and spray your feet with that callus spray to start having it work. It'll take about 4 or 5 minutes for it to start breaking down your skin and soften it. And you'll want to reapply also. So you'll spray it twice, let it sit once for 4 to 5 minutes, and then reapply another time before you actually start removing it with the pumice stone. After which, while that is going on, you want to be continuing your cuticle work. If you've left anything behind, use your cuticle nipper to cut anything scraggly, any hangnails, anything like that. Also, if you have an e-file machine, now it's the time to use that e-file machine with the diamond cuticle bit. If you didn't have an electric file machine, no problem. You can just grab a coarse grit file and file any dead skin off of the surrounding walls of the toenail or even the callus area. You can use it on your callus areas. Now I want you to finish detailing any extra little hangnails that you may have, and also just gently buff your nails. And actually for polygel, you'll have to roughen up your nails a little bit more than just a gentle buff. But because I want these toenails for my personal use to come off a little sooner, I'm just gonna buff. However, again, I repeat, if you want them to last much longer, we're talking about a month at least, then go ahead and use a coarse grit file or an attachment bit. By this time, your callus removing product would have worked its magic, and so now you're ready to exfoliate that dry skin. And again, we're just using a gentle lava pumice stone here, and just back and forth a little bit harder if you need to. You really cannot create or cause damage with this tool, so go at it. If you need to reapply and rebuff, then do so. right, so that was fun. Now it's time to clean things up. I would recommend, again, this pedicure is something you can definitely do at home, but this is also a quality pedicure that you can give to a client. So if you're in the salon and giving this to a client, I would recommend getting a hot towel if you offer that hot towel service, and just removing any of the excess, the filings off of the foot. Or if you still have your water source, getting like just a quick little rinse onto the feet, that would be excellent. And so now we are at the point for our next fun part of this pedicure, and that is the polygel application. Now, you can watch my previous video on polygel application, but basically the application is roughening up the nails a little bit with a 180 grit file, using a primer, a base gel, curing, and then moving on to your actual polygel application, which is what we're going to fast forward now to. All right, so here we are, polygel application. Again, I'm going to go with this nude shade by Rosy Nails. And again, you cannot fit a dual form onto your toenail. So just go ahead and take the material, the polygel, and put it onto your just toenail, straight onto it. It's solid product, so you don't have to worry about it running or, you losing control of it. If you were giving this pedicure to a client and you were at this step would be so much easier. You'd be having a better view, like if obviously you're in front of the foot, so you would be shaping it to perfection. So with that said, my application is going to be pretty far from perfect, but I'll give it my best shot. After this, you are going to just do the same old polygel application. Again, I do have a video that you can see in my library when I apply polygel for the first time onto myself. And so you're doing the same exact process on your toenails. You're squeezing polygel off of the tube, you're putting it onto the spatula, which you are then transferring onto the dual form, which you are then shaping, and then placing that shaped dual form onto your nail, and then giving it a full cure, which is usually about 60 minutes in LED in a curing unit. So again, from here on forward, it's just a traditional polygel application. Go ahead and do that on the rest of your toenails, which you're using dual forms for. And just a tip for you to keep in mind, that polygel actually stays very thick even when you think you've flattened out enough. So especially on your toenails, try to keep the application relatively thin. I'll give you a hint. The amount of product that I used on this video was actually way too much, and I actually had to file and cut back significantly. So save yourself some time and use a little bit less rather than more. Alright, so here we are, the big moment of reveal. Time to remove these dual forms off of the toenails and see what our new toenails look like. After this, we'll go ahead and file them into perfection with a 180 grit board file, and we'll also use our e-file. I went a little thick on these, a little long, so I'm going to definitely have to resort to my e-file. If you don't have an e-file, an electric file, then you're just going to have to resort to a coarse board file. After which, I'll apply base coat and some top coat. right, so my main takeaway, my main tip for you is to apply little poly gel. I definitely have to do a whole bunch of filing and shortening to get these nails into a decent final result. So now these feet have been replenished with our nice urea cream and cuticle oil, and here they are for the big reveal. I hope you enjoyed this video and it provided a ton of value. You learned a lot, learned from my mistakes. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. I'll see you in the next one.